How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Yeah, doing really good. Thanks for making time for me. So, first question I want to ask you is like an obscure animated kids film is presented to you from Mexico. What makes you say yes to that?
I love animation, and I have a lot of young cousins and people in my family that are a little bit younger and maybe not ready to watch John Wick and all the kind of scarier films that I've done. So any opportunity to do something like a Pitch Perfect or a film I've got coming out, One Up, and I've done two animations now. I find them really fun. You get to explore different parts of what you're doing, and the story itself is so beautiful. And obviously, I can relate to that and love the idea of kids watching this. But it's about bullying and finding a place and being an outcast. And eventually, I play a character called Liz, and it's Danny is Jamie Bell. And we start as rivals, and we end up, obviously working together as a team. And it's just a beautiful story about how you can be different and unique, but that's what makes you special. And I love really simple stories like that for young people to watch and understand.
Yeah, absolutely. And the anime company is sort of establishing themselves as a bit of a Mexican Ghibli or DreamWorks of sorts. Were you familiar with much of their work, before you took the role?
I wasn't, but when I found out about the role, I did all, I got into the background of it all and thought this is really incredible. And yeah, it was a really fantastic opportunity. And I'm so glad that I got to do it.
For sure. And did they give you the opportunity to see the Mexican version of the film, like before you took on the role?
You know what? I don't know if it was offered, whether it was able to be offered for me to see it or not, but I just remember I was shooting this during my one day off every 10 days when I was doing Batwoman. So I was doing Batwoman and then I was doing this as well when I could. So it was all a little bit back and forth.
It must be great for them to get someone like you, on board because with these English translations, it does open it up to the rest of the world for them. Wondering about your character of Liz, was the idea of her to have an Aussie accent your idea, or were they just right from the start telling you to go
They
for it?
wanted her, no, they wanted her to be either British or Australian. But when we were doing in a lot of animations, you'll get the privilege, and it's a luxury when you get to be animating as they're kind of creating it. So you're not just matching the moving lips all the time. And then most of the time, for a lot of the other ones, that's just how it has to be. It's mostly been done, and then you're kind of matching their cadence and lip movements. So when I tried it in Australian, it worked a lot better, and then in British, it sounded all the intonations because you have to match the mouth, and I was having to really elongate British words that shouldn't be elongated. So it sounded like I didn't know how to speak English properly.
Yeah,
And
right.
so instead of the Australian, I could add sort of weird Australian noises when there's like the mouth is open and she's not saying much. I could just kind of throw
Yeah,
something in there. So it was good.
yeah. Awesome. I imagine there might be some quirky differences between the Mexican version and your take on it. Have you had a chance to see the other version?
I haven't, but I really want to because when after I did it and I had more time to go back and look into everything, so I loved working with these guys so much, and I'm working with them in the future as well. And I got back and looked at a little bit of it, and I didn't realize how rich and deep that history is, and how award winning and amazing. And I'm just stoked that they got to sort of bring it to America as well, and Australia and everywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've done a sort of a foreign animation before. You did, I think, Sheep and Wolves was a Russian animation. I'm wondering, is there much lost in translation with these productions? Like, how easy is it to sort of dive into them?
I think with this one, I'm trying to think of the other one, Bianca, when I was the wolf. There wasn't any dialogue issues or anything that felt sort of unnecessarily clunky. And you get away with a little bit more in animation because you can put all this light and effort into your voice and everything sounds great, even if it doesn't make the full amount of sense.
Yeah.
So you get to play with that. But I think in what I like about Monster Academy is like I feel like it was a mixture between some jokes that other people will get, and if you have watched the other ones and know a bit more about it, then there's some
Yeah.
adult jokes that's a viewer joke that goes above, obviously the younger people's heads, and then there's the
Yeah.
moral stories. I think it's really beautiful.
For sure. And look, before I let you go, I know you've got a busy morning. I just want to ask a couple of more questions. I'm wondering, as a kid, what was your favorite animated film?
Oh my goodness. Animated film. Because I feel like I was obsessed with the Ninja Turtles, but I wasn't a big fan. I liked the comics, the cartoons, the animation, like way back when, before they got
Yeah.
too weird and realistic and started looking kind of freaky.
Yeah.
And I loved Archie comics. That was my big thing. And Tank Girl is like my number one. I have the tattoo on the back. And I have Astro Boy and
Of
anime
course.
as far as like the Turtles and then Polyester Cat. So yeah, I love all of that kind of stuff.
Missed opportunity. I usually drink from an Astro Boy coffee mug, but today I'm Back to the Future.
Oh,
So
that's still
damn.
pretty good. That's impressive.
Now, this might seem like a narcissistic kind of thing to ask you, but I'm wondering, do you collect all the movies that you star in? Like, do you own them?
Do I own them?
Yeah.
I collect them as in they always send me maybe 5 or 10 of them for family, friends, stuff like that. I'll always keep one of them because, who knows in 20 years,
Yeah.
and if I want to show it to my kids and my family and friends and all that kind of stuff, I'll be like 85 and I'm like, I promise you, I did this and this. And, I used to kick butt. I'm like, no, you didn't, Grandma. I'll be like, I'll prove it. But I don't
Yeah.
watch them back or anything like that. But it's
No.
nice to have them. It's something to be very proud of.
Yeah, it's like having a photo album or an Instagram account. But all right. And finally, before I do let you run, just in regards to the way you choose projects and films and whatnot, is there a rhyme or reason to making decisions on yes or no's? Like, what appeals to you most?
I think there is the standard structure that's kind of foolproof, which is just knowing, the director, the director's work, their experience, also their level of passion in the film. Is it something that they're doing in between things that they really love, or is it something that is their baby and they're going to really, bring out the best performances and put together a fantastic film? Then, of course, the other cast members and if there's the right casting choices and how the dynamics will fit, the script. And then as I get a little older, it's like the location. Is it too far away from home, or is it closer to Australia? Please, can I take my dogs? And then I just want to do different things that I haven't done before. So even if I do another action film or I do another comedy, I want it to be entirely different to the previous, character-wise. And that's what it is now. It's really about saying no to anything that I feel like I've done before and trying to really find the things that I haven't.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I think this movie is a blast. I think anyone that likes sort of Jumanji or Goosebumps is going to get a real kick out of it. And I'm certainly going to buy it when it comes out on DVD. So thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're awesome. Thank you very much. Goosebumps. I miss those books.
I know.
Did they do a film or a TV show?
2 films and a TV show.
Oh, like recently or like way back when I used to watch
No,
it?
Jack Black was in them, in the recent ones. They are good.
Okay. I'm going to check it out. Awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Well, thanks
you.
for your time. Have a great one.
Okay, you too. Bye.